Yo guys, what's up? Kyle here. What's the topic? One of the things I want to talk about here is why I think less title belts. It's a good less title belts would be a good thing in WWE. Because I just think that there's just way too many title belts, and I think we're at a point now in wrestling where having two world champions in the same company doesn't make sense anymore. It kind of made sense, about 10, 12 years ago because just the depth of talent we had back then, it made sense in a way. But now it really doesn't when talent is, few far in between. We have the talent, but stars just aren't being made. Names aren't being made like they were 12 to 10 years ago. So having two world champs, I think, is just kind of irrelevant now. I think that, one of the things that will help benefit in having less championships, I don't think people pay attention to, is that, I think that it's a better build, I think, for the wrestlers. I think, it also mixes things up in the main event scene. One of the biggest things that a lot of people complain, it's 2012 a lot, but besides 2012, but over the last few years, is that it's always the same people in the main event. John Cena versus Big Show, or John Cena versus CM Punk, or John Cena versus this person, that person, or Sheamus versus Alberto Del Rio for three or four pay-per-views straight. People always complain about that, and rightfully so. And I think by having one main world champion again in WWE, or one world title in WWE, I think it'll help that refresh the main event scene a bit. You go back to the Attitude Era. Your top five guys in the Attitude Era were Austin, Rock, Mick Foley, Triple H, Undertaker, and somewhat later on, they threw in Chris Jericho and Kurt Angle into the mix. But before those guys, those were pretty much your five main guys back in the Attitude Era for like 3 years straight, from 1998 all the way through, kind of early of 2001. Like I said, and split through Jericho and Angle in the mix. But the reason why people never really complained was because you had one champion. When Austin was champion, Austin would wrestle against The Rock, Mankind, Triple H, Undertaker, and then the next champion would be Triple H, and then you'd have Triple H versus Mankind, or Triple H versus Rock, and Kurt Angle, and then Kurt Angle's champion, you'd have Kurt Angle versus Undertaker and Rock and Austin. So by having one championship belt, kind of like rotate amongst those few stars, you still get different types of main event matches. And I think, by having the brands kind of split and have their own separate world titles, especially in a time, like I said, right now, where neither roster has a crop of neither brand has a crop of depth to the roster to where they can mix up the main event scenes. That's why, now you're seeing the SmackDown guys on Raw, and occasionally the middle card Raw guys on SmackDown, is because there's just not that much depth anymore. And I think by eliminating two world titles, I think we'll really help mix it up a bit. If CM Punk, if we didn't even have the world title, it was just CM Punk as WWE champion, Punk could have wrestled, Daniel Bryan, Sheamus, Del Rio, Big Show. I mean, it's all the guys that were on the SmackDown main event side, Punk could have faced. It would just mix some things up a bit, and instead of having, type of incident we kind of had at Hell in a Cell, where John Cena was injured and they were kind of like in a desperate move to kind of like have somebody face Punk because Cena was injured. If they had one title sharing amongst both brands, they could have thrown in a Sheamus, they could have thrown in a Randy Orton without being, kind of like in a rush to find out, let's hurry up and push right back to the moon so you could, face Punk in this main event. And I also think, too, with less title belts, I just think it's just better, it helps build better characters, I think. When you have so many guys trying to get the one main title or the one mid-card title, I just think I just think it's just better when you just have more people chasing, after that one particular belt, because you have more variety in different matches and in different feuds when you have a lot of people gunning for the same belt. You know what I mean? Looking at the roster size, they may want to keep the U.S. and the Intercontinental, keep both those belts at the same time, since like I said, the roster that they're getting, new guys are coming up from NXT and stuff. The roster is getting kind of big, so you may want to keep the U.S. and IC belt, but it's just my thoughts on it. I think it's kind of stupid now, to have two world champions. It's like, oh well, I failed at being WWE champion, but that's okay because I'm going to go after the world title, or vice versa. It's like, you can only be the man, even though we know that WWE is still the main title of the two world championships, but still, it just kind of defeats the purpose of having, two world titles in the same company. It made sense, early on back in 2002 when they did it, with when they bought in WCW, and like I said, the roster, the talent of guys that they had added on to their roster with the folding of WCW and ECW. It made sense and it did help, but now at a time where the roster's not depth, stars, the names aren't there on both brands, I think it's time to phase those out and just, cut down on the too many title belts. I mean, they unified the tag team belts, which was smart. I think they need to get rid of the World Championship, retire the World title, and just keep the WWE title. Let me know what you guys think about this. Do you agree with my opinions and thoughts on this topic? I want to hear your thoughts in the box below. Subscribe. Peace.